Well, welcome to week 7 of EDT 530. We are rapidly approaching the midway point of the course. Have covered a lot of material so far. The good news is, as we start heading out from here, that we're going to be starting to see a transition more and more to just focusing on production and working on the Moodle projects and so on. We've got a couple more weeks to go in terms of looking at various kinds of instructional materials, but that work is going to be starting to wrap up in the next couple of weeks. So for this week, to introduce and kind of go over the scope of the course, we have the main focus this week is instructional video. We've looked so far at graphics, at audio, and at some various Moodle activities. So our focus this week is going to be on video. Next week will be animation. So there will not be a specific production forum for this week or production task for this week. We're going to get through both video and animation, and then you will be selecting one of those two to do your next production project. So there are no production projects involved directly this week. So you're going to be looking in video, learning some techniques or some information about how to make instructional videos effective. You'll be in groups analyzing some instructional videos, and along the way, we'll be learning what a Moodle wiki activity is. So that'll be another thing that you can add into your toolbox when you're working on your own Moodle projects. And phase 3 of the technology integration plans will begin this week. And for that phase, the main focus is going to be on identifying the particular technology that you want to suggest using to solve the problem that you have now identified and address the needs that you've identified in the first couple of phases. So that is sort of the overview. In terms of the sequence of activities, there is a introductory article that I want everybody to read first that kind of goes over some big ideas to keep in mind with instructional videos. So that'll provide a bit of a framework. Keep in mind that because videos are visual in nature, you're going to see a fair amount of overlap between information about video and the information that we did back with graphics and the Gestalt principles. So there is overlap there because they are both visual. Obviously, with video, we have the added layer of the fact that the information is in motion. So that adds kind of a whole different dimension to it. So start with that article. Then the main activity, the group activity this week, is going to be assessing some videos. There is a Moodle wiki activity that has been set up to support this activity. I would suggest, first of all, before you get into the actual analysis part of the task, spend some time familiarizing yourself with the Moodle wiki activity. I've given you a couple of links to the official Moodle information pages about the wiki. The second one actually goes into a little bit more depth about some ideas of how to use it in the classroom and so on. And the first one is more of sort of a quick overview. The couple of things to remember that are most important things maybe to remember in terms of using a wiki are this edit tab that's at the top of the page. Anytime that you want to edit or your students to have your students edit a wiki page, they have to click on that edit tab. And then the other sort of unusual feature is that the wiki allows you to create any number of subpages that you can then link from page to page to page. And the key to that is using double square brackets. So if you look on your keyboard, sort of up on the right-hand side, usually to the right of the letter P, there are the curly brackets if you hit the shift key, but if you don't hit the shift key, it's the square brackets. So if you put two right-facing double square brackets and then some text, and then two left-facing double square brackets, then the wiki activity will interpret that as a link. So if you're trying to link to an existing page, you just put the title of that existing page in between the brackets. If you want to create a new page, then on a given page, you'll still use those double brackets. You'll put the title of the new page in between the brackets. And then when you save the page you're editing, that text that you just put in will show up in red. And that says there's a link here, but there's no page that's been created yet. So then the first time you click on that red link, it will then actually create the page. And then you'll be on a new page and you can go into the edit mode and put the content in there. So your groups will be having practice doing this, but those are kind of the key things in terms of how to use a wiki activity. In terms of the actual video activity, after you've read the article in your group, first of all, everybody should take some time to watch. There are 2 videos assigned to each group. So everybody in your group should watch the videos. I want you to really kind of try to look at them in terms of their instructional effectiveness as opposed to any kind of specific content issues. You can certainly mention some content issues if you want to in your analysis, but mainly the question I want you to keep in mind as you're watching them is how well are the videos teaching the thing that they are trying to teach? That is really what we're trying to look at here as opposed to any specific content issues. So that's the question you should be thinking about. Then your group is going to need to figure out some way to have a conversation about these. I've provided a couple of Moodle chat rooms, which you are more than welcome to use in your group. I will say off the bat that the Moodle chat interface is not the smoothest interface. It's a little clunky, particularly if people are trying to come in at a later date and look back at a chat session that occurred already. So if you're going to use the Moodle chat, then try to set up a time where everybody can log into the chat at the same time. You don't have to use them if it's easier for your group to set up a Zoom meeting time or to use a Google Doc or whatever you want to use in terms of collaborating. Feel free to use whatever method you want to. But I wanted to make the Moodle chat rooms available. That also gives you a bit of an introduction to Moodle chat rooms as well, in case that's something you want to use in your Moodle projects. So you will discuss the 2 videos in terms of their strengths and weaknesses. Then you will go into your group's page, and the 2 groups are here in terms of who's in which group. So for example, I'll go into group 1's page here. And on that page, there are the 2 videos that you're going to watch. Then at the bottom here where it says links to analysis pages, your group will go in and add 3 subpages here. And on those subpages, and I'll go back here because it says you're going to add a strengths page, a weaknesses page, and a suggestions page. Just make sure that when you name the pages, you call it group 1 suggestions or group 2 strengths, because all the pages have to have unique names, even if they're under different parts of the wiki. So making sure it says group 1 or group 2 will make sure that your names are unique. So on the strengths page, as the name probably implies, you're going to be talking about what the videos did well. Did you see anything in the videos that you might think about incorporating in your own videos? On the weaknesses page, you're going to look at the other side of the coin. Where did the videos fall short? And in particular, how did those shortcomings impact the instructional effectiveness? Because that's the thing I want to keep us focused on is how effective are these videos being from an instructional standpoint. And then on the suggestions page, you're going to provide some suggestions. If you were advising the people who created the videos, are there any suggestions you would make to them to help improve the effectiveness? Make sure that all your pages are complete. Each of these sub pages, you should put a link at the bottom of each sub page that's going to bring you back to your main group page. And again, you just do that with the double brackets, and you'll put the name of your main page in there, either group 1 or group 2. And that'll allow each of those sub pages to go back to your main page. So just make sure everything's in there, that it's correct, that all your links work. And that's the main group activity or the main video activity for this week. Again, you're not going to be creating any videos this week. It's just this week going to be about analyzing videos and getting a handle on what makes them effective. All right, then beyond that, let me get back down here to week 7. The other main thing this week is, well, 2 main things. There is a forum for this week, so take a look at that. It's link to instructional videos, and I just want you to maybe provide some insight into an experience that maybe you've had with instructional video, good or bad or indifferent. And again, keep those conversations going by responding to other people's posts. And then the other thing, the other big piece this week is that the third phase of the technology integration plans is now available. And as I said, this is going to focus on the actual technology that you are looking to use to address your problem. In some cases, that may be hardware. In other cases, it may be software. In some cases, it may be more focused on training, but you'll still want to address what is the software or hardware that you are hoping to train your target population in. So take a moment to read through. I get pretty specific here in terms of things to keep in mind as you're going through. Ideally, I would love to see in your plans that for your given problem you're trying to address, that you find 2 or 3 possible technologies and then evaluate them and try to come up with the one that you think is going to be the best at addressing your problem. You may not, in every situation, everyone may not be able to do that, but if possible, do try to find some options, even if you think you know what direction you're going in. I've had students in the past come in thinking that they were going to be using a given piece of software, and then as they got into things, they discovered that there was another piece of software that was even better. So that's an important thing to cover in this particular phase. So yeah, just take a look through this, look through the details. Just like you've done in the other 2 phases, you'll be creating a Word document for your work and submitting that to the assignment. You also, again, have 3 weeks to work on this, so it'll be due week 10, which is March 30th. So you've got some time to work on this, and then just submit it right here to the assignment when it's done. So that is basically the overview for this week. On the homework page, it's all laid out. Here's the TIP project assignment page, the article about instructional videos, and then the wiki analysis activity that you'll work through as a group. In your Moodle projects, I know there's nothing specific in your Moodles, but use the time to start building out that content in your Moodles. The new Moodle server went into effect this morning. So as you log in now, as I mentioned last week, you may need to reset your password. Everything that you've done should be in there. It may look a little different. To my eye, the new Moodle look just is a little bit different. So there may be a little bit to get adjusted to there, but everything seems to be working pretty well. So just continue to build out that content and the discussion forum as well. And then, as I said, next week, the companion to this week will be to take a look at animation. We're actually going to use Powtoon as our platform and get a brief introduction to Powtoon and to creating some instructional videos, but ones that use animation as opposed to ones that focus on live action. All right, I think that is pretty much the wrap up for this week. Always contact me with questions or concerns as you go. And good luck with the video. I would say it probably makes sense for groups to try to get in touch with each other early on in the week to set up a schedule for when you're going to get together and discuss the videos, because that will require a little bit of collaboration. So just find a time to do that, and good luck with the rest of it, and let me know if you have questions. All right, enjoy your week. Looks like we're going to be in the 60s by the end of the week, so that is awesome news. And I will touch base with everyone in a week. Thanks, and enjoy the day.